G'day everyone, what is going on? It is your favorite producer from Down Under, Jhin, back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to easily make a detuned bell melody for an artist such as Travis Scott or Don Toliver inside of FL Studio. If you are new here, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button though. And while you're at it, flick that little notification bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a video. Friendly reminder that I stream live over on Twitch Monday to Saturday from 10 PM AEST, so if you want to chuck me a follow over there and catch up with the shenanigans as well, would greatly appreciate that too. But with that being said, let's get into FL Studio and let's deconstruct this sample. Okay, so here we are inside of FL Studio, and like majority of my samples, not really that much is happening with this one. We have 6 instruments. To begin with, if you are going to be making a detuned bell melody, you obviously need a decent sounding bell. Now the bell that we ended up going for comes from the Beats by Trav 2K drum kit and one-shot kit. It's just underneath one-shot bells all the way down the bottom, the zombie bell. Now as you can hear with that preview, there is a decent amount of reverb on that tail. Now we didn't want that, so we drag it over into a sampler where we turn the out knob to 30%, and then with the envelope, we boost the attack by 2, hold is on 100, decay on 30, sustain 39, and release on 50. That way we get rid of the click at the beginning and we actually allow the tail to play through, making it sound more natural. The pattern with this one though is really simple. We are working in the key of D sharp minor at a BPM of 123, and we are relying on the 1 semitone changes. As you can see with this F sharp going to F, this A sharp going to the B, back down to the A sharp. Now we do have a couple of slide notes come in where we have this C sharp where it slides down and then slides back up to the D sharp up here. Now that gives it that warped growth speed effect without actually needing growth speed. Now all we did once we got that was we just copied it over and over. If I was to grab this and go Control B, Control B, Control B, as you can see, it fits perfectly. Once we did that, we Control B'd the whole first part of the loop, pasted it over, and we just pasted it down a full octave. In context, this is what the bells sound like. Really simple, really catchy, and that's something you really need to tend to go for when it does come to making samples. It's just make it catchy, make it get stuck in people's heads. Going on to the effects with this one, we have a decent amount of effects coming in. We start off with a vintage chorus on the second mode, mix on 80%, noise on 0, master wet dry on 60%, a Valhalla vintage verb where we're using the dark pad preset. That one comes from Sanctuary, mix on 30%, pre-delay on 41, decay on 6.66, and a low cut of 70. An EQ comes in where we get rid of all of the low and we do boost the high end a decent amount so it stands out in the mix a little bit more. Then a guitar rig comes in where we are using the acoustic multi preset. All we did with this one is we added the room cosmic keys preset, reverb on 60, mix on 12, and we changed the master wet dry over to 80%. Another EQ comes in where we get rid of all of the low end and some of the high end. Then we just bring in these 2 notch filters because there were 2 harsh frequencies, one around 630 Hz and another one around 2500. An RVox stereo comes in at the end just to compress it, just to make it sound a little bit more loud. The next part of this sample comes in from Contact, and what we are using is the basic pure preset from the Neo Pure Contact Bank, and all we're doing is we're just playing the root notes over 2 octaves, as you can see with this D sharp 3, D sharp 2. In context, this is what the piano sounds like. Really simple, but for the first part of the loop, we are using the piano to make it sound more of a natural bass to fill up that bass range. With the second part, we bring in the synth bass. The next part of this loop, though, comes in from Arcade, and the bank that we are using is the Nightmare Bank, Rigor Mortis as well. And what we are doing is a sound that I use in a lot of my loops. It is G5, and it's the shovel dragging along gravel. In context, sounds like so. Now, if you're wearing headphones, you would actually realize this one has been panned to the right a little bit more. If I remember correctly, I panned this one 30% to the right. And then with the next perk loop, which comes from the Producer Grind Experiment Club, which is the grave site, we have this one being panned 30% to the left. In context, it sounds like so. Really simple, but you know, by panning sounds, you can actually make a loop sound a bit more full, and it's an easier way to get sounds to fit. If you're having trouble with, you know, this sound is blending in with that one and it's making it sound muddy, pan one to the left, pan one to the right, or you can alternate the frequency ranges that you're playing, which I will show with this violin. Now, this violin comes from Contact, and surprise, surprise, we're using the Gypsy Romantic from the Balkan Ethnic Orchestra. And as you can see, we do have it starting low and then we have it ending high. Now, if you remember the bell melody started high and went down to low. So by changing this and having this be the opposite, we're allowing the violin to come in and it doesn't clash with the bells. Yet again, with this violin, we are relying on the one semitone changes with this B and this A sharp. Yet again, over here, B, A sharp. For the next part, we actually have it going F sharp to F. And then for the last part goes back to B and A sharp. But in context, this is what the violin sounds like. As you can hear, you know, it goes low from high. The bells do the complete opposite. It's something that I can strongly suggest if you want things to fit in. Have one playing low and another instrument playing the high registry. It's an easy way to get sounds to blend in together. The last thing that we have comes from Serum, and it is the Synth Bass. Now, the preset that we're using from this one is Mafia Bass. Now, I made this one myself. If you do want to cop this preset and the RC20 preset, feel free to click the download link in the description. I'll be leaving them there for you to cop. But all we're doing with this synth bass is something really simple. We are just playing the root note, and we just have a couple of sliding notes. As you can see with this F sharp, this B to A sharp, the semitones change, the one semitone change, F sharp to F, B to A sharp, and then the F to the F sharp. In context, this is what the bass sounds like. Really simple, but it just kind of adds that low end, that grit. Going on to the effects with everything else. With the violin, we have an EQ come in where we get rid of everything below 400 hertz. With the piano, we have an EQ come in where we get rid of everything below 80 hertz, and we just cut out stuff around 130 hertz so the bass has more room to fit. With the perk loop, we just have an EQ come in where we just wanted it to sit in the background. So I got rid of a lot of the low end and got rid of a lot of the high end. Same with the arcade, we do the exact same thing. We just wanted a certain part of it to come through. Now these two get routed to insert 6, where we have another EQ come in where we get rid of a lot of the lows and a lot of the highs, but we do boost it up 4 decibels so you can actually hear it a little bit more. Then everything minus the bass gets routed to insert 7, which is the melody bus, where we have an RC20 with the tri-freeze preset, magnitude on 80%. Now if you want to cop this one and the Serum bass, link to those will be in the description for free. We have a Valhalla Vintage Verb come in, the Tiled Room preset, mix on 30%, pre-delay on nothing, decay 0.6 on a low cut of 10 Hz, Vintage Chorus, second mode, 80%, master wet dry on 20, then an EQ where we get rid of everything below 80, and we just do a little bass cut around 130 Hz just so the bass can actually fit in. With the bass though, all we have is an EQ where we get rid of everything above 1200 Hz and everything below 30 Hz. But yeah, that is how you can easily make a detuned bell melody for artists such as Future, Travis Scott, or Don Toliver inside of FL Studio. If you are new here, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, click that little notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload a video. Friendly reminder again that I stream live over on Twitch Monday to Saturday from 10 PM AEST. So if you want to chuck me a follow over there and catch up with the shenanigans, would greatly appreciate that one also. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week for another video.